Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fifth Down Territory. And just like Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, the boys are back together and magically all our hamstrings still work. So it's going to be a good week. But that's the big news. I think the big intro we have to get into. Davante Adams goes to the Jets for a third and a whole bunch of salary.
But somehow the Bills are still having a better week than they are.
And the Bills traded for Amari Cooper for a third-round pick. And then the Vikings traded
cap hit. Less than $1 million in cap hit. That's like one of the biggest pieces.
Yeah.
So because there's some Bills fans, we'll talk about it more, but there was no chance for the Bills to get Davante Adams at the price that the Jets got him at.
No. So let's dive in first. Real quick, we'll talk. It's fine to talk about both. I would say pick one of the two trades to focus on. So, Lamb, why don't you start us off? What do you think about the trades that went down today?
I mean, I like the Amari Cooper one better personally, just for what that means for the team moving forward this season. I think the team profits more off of them acquiring Amari Cooper than the Jets will do from acquiring Davante Adams. Now, I think for fantasy, Davante Adams probably better. I do think that's a dangerous acquisition. I think that they're 2-4, and if they continued without him, they might have missed the playoffs. Them adding him to Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, having the three weapons, I think will give them enough to kind of get out of this sub 500 start and get into the playoffs. But Cooper, I think that's a move where you're like, we could be an AFC championship contender, and Cooper might put you over the top as for the Bills.
Yeah. So, Bahookie, why don't you go ahead and go into that and talk more about the Bills trade, right? Focus on the how does adding Amari Cooper help the existing Bills wide receiver core, and how does it help Josh Allen?
He's a real deep threat. He's got some size. He's average. I was reading some next gen stats. He's got the highest air yards on incompletions, which is like when they talk about like how reliable receivers are, and there should be like a skew because deep balls are harder to catch. But he produces in the long game. He's gonna add another dimension to our team here, and we cut Marquez Valdez-Scantling here. And I feel pretty good about the value that we got him at. We gave up a third and a seventh, and we got back him in a sixth. And we are up a second round pick from the Diggs trade, as you know. And we took on like almost no money. Like all of his money has already been paid. It's it's $700,000, $800,000, which to one of us would be quite a bit, but in the NFL, that's pennies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At that position, that's crazy.
For that type of talent, too.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and I have been kind of preaching us like kind of staying the course with what we have been doing here. But I like this mentality from Brandon Beane because it tells me like that he really believes in this coaching staff, really believe in this team right now. And they really think that we can do it. They think we can, and that's where it starts.
This is something Bean does too. Like he went and got Rasul Douglas last year.
He's the best. I'm biased, but I'd say he's the best GM in the NFL. I think you put Howie Roseman and Brett Veach up there too. I love my guy, and I know what our team was for so long in the mud. And for him to get us to where we are now, the Chiefs and the Eagles weren't really in the mud the way the Bills were. Not that they weren't winning championships, but
the Bills went through some tough shit
there. Yeah, my whole childhood.
Nolan,
I feel pretty good about it. We got a great price on it, and there's some Bills fans. I saw the initial reaction is, we should have went for Davante, and like. I'm sure we had discussions, but like the way the Jets took all of the money on, that's why they got him.
Be happy with what you got.
That was the best deal the Raiders were going to get, and the Jets have to do this because their window is is like this, and that's probably them getting in as a wild card team and hoping to catch fire at the end. Like everything really has to go right for them here. I'm not saying the Jets are out yet. There's a lot of football to be played, and I still think there's a good chance they come in here as a wild card. But my preseason prediction of the Bills winning this game or this game and this division by virtue of the divisional games. That's why the Bills were going to win this. I had the Ravens and Texans and even the Jags game circled as losses coming into this year. I thought there was a good chance we'd be 2-4 at week 6, and we're 4-2 and won our divisional games. We can move on though.
Yeah. All right, Nolan, give me a quick rundown. What did you think about these acquisitions? And I think you're a Chiefs fan, so give us some touch base here. Are you hoping to see the Chiefs make a similar move, or you want them to stick?
As far as the Davante move goes, I mean, it's definitely a good pickup just because you get back that rapport that Tay and Rodgers have, and that's important. And right now, that's kind of what the Jets need is some kind of solidarity and something that works. And Rodgers to Tay Adams is something that worked quite well when they play together. The only thing that throws up red flags now would be like the production of some of these other guys. I mean, you brought in Alan Lazard, you had Garrett Wilson already there, obviously, but what are some of these other guys' roles going to be? How heavy is their usage going to be? And maybe it's a lot, and that's fine because then you just have more weapons to use. You still have your running back room in Breece Hall, but it could be good for them. Only time will tell. This is just kind of one of those things where you have to wait and see, because when Tay went to the Raiders to play with Derek Carr, everybody was like, oh, this is going to be great. And it wasn't. So this could be another one of those situations, or it could be a rock star baller move. So only time will tell. The Amari Cooper one I thought was great, and here's where the Chiefs kind of come in. Amari Cooper, I think, was I think that was the main target for Kansas City, just to try to get somebody that maybe has a little bit more tread on the tires than Tay Adams, and you could maybe get him for the right price. And that's kind of I viewed it as more of a rental type deal. I don't know if they would have kept him long term, but bring him in for the rest of the year because Rashee Rice is out. So now that both of those guys are off the board, I mean, Kansas City has talked about maybe bringing MVS back, which I think would be stupid. It's much like Zeke leaving Dallas to go to New England and then coming back. It's like, what are you really getting out of it? There's not a lot of value there. And so
DeAndre Hopkins seems like maybe a potential candidate to me. I don't know if the Cowboys would consider trading Brandon Cooks. I feel like either of those guys maybe could feel – I know they're both Texans connections, which is why they come to my mind, but they seem like aging vets on bad teams who you could probably get for a similar price.
No, yeah. I mean, Deontay Johnson is another name that I've heard thrown around if Carolina's willing to sell at the right price.
That would be crazy. That would be a really good one if they pulled that off. He's young still.
Something like that. So it's not going to be a big market move by any means. The two big market moves they could have made are gone, and now you got to try to make do with what you have. But if Juju Smith-Schuster is going to make 7 catches for 130 every week, maybe you don't have to go out and splash the market in any way. But we'll see. The biggest signing was Brandon McManus.
If that happens, by the way.
Yeah, my overall thoughts on it are kind of like the Jets just feel weird to me. Like the Adams move, everybody knew it was going to happen almost. Like, okay, another Rodgers drinking buddy's back in the fold. Him coming into frame while Rodgers was on Pat McAfee when the news broke. It's just like, I don't know, man.
It feels like a house of cards. Like it
feels like a high school football team where your quarterback's carrying the whole team and has way too much say. Like there's no feasible world where this team makes any reasonable deep run in the playoffs. And I think that's going to revolve around Aaron's personality. 2-4 just seems a little bit, you don't have a coach and then you're going to go trade a 3rd round pick. Like I don't hate the acquisition cost. I just don't get it for this team. As far as Cooper goes,
I was just gonna say one last thing about Adams, though. It's not like a Randall Cobb edition. Like Davante Adams has clearly shown this year that he still has it. He's like still
he does. I'm just saying, like, you're 2-4. You have some tough games coming up on the schedule,
I get
it. The Bills are pulling a healthy lead now in the division. Like at best, you're going to come in as a wild card team.
It was a huge game.
I get you.
I don't like it.
We were kind of talking about it, like, whatever. Like he's some washed.
No, Adams is a really good player still.
Yeah.
I believe that. It's just for this team specifically, I don't think it solves their real problem.
There's too many off-the-field issues in New York.
Yeah, and this defense is not playing up to standard, and this doesn't fix either of those things.
This is like a move for Joe Douglas, their GM, who knows like if it doesn't happen for them this year, he's done anyways. So
yeah, trade the future.
Like,
and then as far as the Bills trade goes, I'm kind of indifferent. Like, I think it's a good cost acquisition. Like a third rounder is not a big deal. I do think there's good receivers that you can get in the third. And my worry is like, Cooper's pretty far down the pipeline at this point. So I think my real question is who's not going to see field time so Cooper can play. I think Shakir's role is pretty safe. I'm a little worried it's going to impact Keon Coleman's development. So I'll have to see like what the splits look like. But initially, I think he's probably going to replace Coleman's role as down the field. Like
I like it because I think it's kind of
Samuel stays in as kind of like that 3.
I see. I think they shift Shakir to the Samuel role kind of and use him in the slot more and move him around. Keep Coleman on the outside and then have Cooper on the other outside.
Keon Coleman is an upgraded Gabe Davis. Are you going to tell me that you like Gabe Davis better than Keon Coleman? Because I don't.
I don't like Gabe Davis better than Keon Coleman. I'm just saying, like, you're hoping at the price you paid for Keon Coleman, you're hoping that's a 1.
Because Keon Coleman was drafted to be like a true like X, like a true like split end. And then
so I think like one, I don't like his target share now. Like I don't think he's seen enough targets. I know he's been kind of sloppy, but you just kind of hope that cleans up. You're going to work with him.
Yeah, you're going to get his head around for one. He got hit in the back of the head, so like he's got to earn that trust with the quarterback.
And I agree with that. It's not a bad move. I'd probably grade it more on the better side than the bad side. It's just like Cooper might have one or 2 years left.
I mean, he's unrestricted free agent in 25, so they need him to be something now. Like that's kind of like they feel like we have a good team, but we need to have a go-to guy for those big moments.
But are you getting an Amari Cooper in the 3rd round? Like I get you can get good players in late rounds, but like how often do you really hit on those? You know,
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could go back. Like Amon-Ra was a late round pick. Stephon Diggs is a late round pick. Tank Dell was
just but those guys take a couple years to develop. We're talking about like talent that's injected right now.
Cool. No,
a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Yeah, no, you're right. So moving on to biggest surprise, overreaction, underreaction, and certified sicko. I'm going to go ahead and kick this off, and we'll roll through this one pretty quick. My biggest surprise of the week was Sean Tucker. Pleasant surprise. Thought he did a great job in his role in that big Bucks big Bucks thrashing of the Saints. So hopefully he sees a healthy role going forward. Sorry, Rashad White. You're dead to me. Overreaction for me is the Lions' outlook without Hutchinson. I do think he's a big part of this team, and that injury obviously was very sad to see. I still think this is a good team. I still think they have a great chance to win the NFC North. I think they'll make a move to address depth, but next guy up mentality is going to win in Detroit. My underreaction, I don't think people are talking about enough, is the Saints are running out of time. You start off hot, you drop the last 4. I think they've lost the last 4, if I'm right, 2 and 4.
Yep.
You're not going to survive on 2 and 5. So this is do or die week right here. You do not have the luxury to drop to 2 and 5 and hope you're making the playoffs really in any way. Even at 2 and 4, I'm not super hopeful. But for a team that started so hot, it was a very quick fall from grace. So they got to figure out how to put the foot back on the gas this week. And then my certified sicko of the week is David Montgomery. Crazy hard run to open up the game. Tie the franchise rushing consecutive game record, gets his extension. So Montgomery, you've earned it, man. A big 1-2 punch of that Lions backfield, and I think an underrated player in the league as a whole.
Monty won me $300 this week with the cash on the 6-legger. He's one of the most consistent running backs out here for sure. I'll go next since I'm already talking. I do have a little drop for my certified sicko.
Certified sicko of the week.
It's Baker Mayfield this week. Homie's QB2 on the season right now. He's had multiple four passing touchdown games. He's carving people up. He looks great. He looks comfortable. And this Bucs team really should be 5-1. Like they're 1 second away from it. Like, and they had a dud against Denver, but otherwise they've been playing excellent football. And Baker Mayfield's been just really on
With
point.
3 interceptions this week. Not saying that's a deal breaker, but it is notable to me. Like, got to take care of the ball a little better. I know you put up 51, but
yeah, for sure.
Just, clean it up. But I agree. He's playing great this season.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'll
do the rest. Biggest surprise, overreaction, underreaction.
I was so hyped about the drop, I just forgot about it. I'll do my biggest surprise next. I was really just surprised at how Drake May looked. I know it's kind of a homer pick for me, but with the way people were talking about him the weeks before he started, it seemed he was miles away. And then all of a sudden he's on the field and he looked jittery. It wasn't perfect, but he's making reads. He's moving. His eyes and his feet are even with each other when he's moving. He's making smart decisions. He's extending plays. The 40-yard touchdown pass to Kayshon Boutte, absolutely
on
gorgeous.
Derek Stingley.
Yeah, on Derek Stingley. That's a great cornerback. They were bringing pressure. He stepped up, put it in the breadbasket. The play where he rolled out to the right and Hunter Henry was kind of moving to the left and he sidearmed it to Henry kind of. He's just straight up moving to the right, just kind of doing that. I have a couple of quick stats here for that, though. His touchdown pass to Boutte was traveled 51.7 yards in the air. That's the longest completion by a Patriots quarterback over the last 3 seasons. And it took all of the quarterbacks in this QB class multiple games to throw for touchdown passes. Drake May in his first start against Houston had 3 touchdown passes, and they put up the most points in this season for them with 4 turnovers, an awful rushing game, getting killed on the ground, and 9 penalties. And he was still able to kind of overcome that and double our average passing yards per game and throw 3 touchdowns. So I just
say, Tyler, on last week's show, you'd be happy if he gets the ball 20 yards through the air at any point.
I am thrilled, Nolan. I am thrilled because he did that twice for touchdowns. Because the Mario Douglas one was a straight up missile launcher over the middle of the field. But yeah, so I was just kind of with how they were talking about him and how he played. I thought they were just very different. My overreaction of the Bengals and the Jets are cooked. A lot of people are talking about the Bengals not making the playoffs. I think they're still in it. I think the Jets are still in it. And I kind of allude to in my Adams kind of take. The underreaction, why is nobody talking about this ass whooping that the Cowboys took? The Lions got the paddle out, bent them over, and it was not good. They can't sit down for a while.
On the 3rd touchdown attempt to an offensive lineman, I was like, this is fine worthy. This is on my conduct.
To Penei Sewell, and they scored a touchdown. Come on.
They threw one to Taylor Decker. They lined a lineman up out wide, which is diabolical behavior. And then the reverse, whatever you call that, to Penei Sewell, who dives for the end zone. I'm like, throw the flag, ref. They're celebrating before the touchdown, before they snap it. It's insane work.
Yeah, no, the Cowboys are getting flamed up right now. It's not great.
Should be sellers. I would move. I would call the people I now call daddy, and I would say, hey, Dad, do you want Micah Parsons for a 1st and a 2nd?
If you should be able to get multiple ones for Michael.
Whatever you think the trade value of Michael Parsons is. I mean, the first people I'm dialing up, I'd be like, hey, Dad, sorry I broke your star player. As an apology, here's Michael Parsons.
Yeah,
we really don't need him. We can't pay him according to Jerry Jones, and we suck.
Well then.
All right, go ahead.
Bahookie, how about you go next?
All right.
Your
So with
sicko of the
with
week
that
is
being
kind of-
said, my certified sicko of the week is Dan Campbell, who bit off both of Mike McCarthy's kneecaps. Uh,
Took them both.
both
the
of
whole-
them. That's what happened.
Does Mike McCarthy even have kneecaps, or is it just more thigh?
He's kind of like a giant
It kind
baby.
of just blends
They haven't
into
developed
one,
yet.
like
He's just crawling around on the field like he needs a Fortnite revive.
I hated that move the second it happened. I saw that.
I had a long debate with my father about it. I remember my father was like, "Oh, that's a great move for the Cowboys." I'm like, "No, it's not actually." Like, have you watched the Packers the last 5 years? Anyways, I digress. Biggest surprises was the Bills and Jets giving us a double feature. I said on what's generally the quietest football day of the week. Tuesday was not this week. This is going to be we're going to be talking probably about this day down the road more than we were this past Sunday.
Yep.
At least in the AFC East circles. Then where we at? Overreaction, underreaction. I alluded to this in our trade talk earlier. Overreaction was that the Bills should have went harder for Adams. I think they went as hard as they needed to, and there was a certain price that they could and / were willing to pay, and for the Jets that was something way different, and they got the deal that they needed, and I'm pretty good about it. And my underreaction is one Louie was said Rachaad White might be cooked here. The emergence between just him underperforming and his being a little bit dinged up, and Bucky Irving emerging. Then what is that all I had?
I think so.
Yeah.
You want to rip it, Noel? Do yours, and then we'll get into games.
Yep, sounds good. So sicko of the week. I forgot to put this on there, but I had a 3-way tie between Caleb Williams, Joe Mixon, and Sean Tucker from Tampa.
You can't have ties.
Yeah, you know what? You're fair. But all three of those guys just went off this week, and it was hard for me to kind of pick between those three. I was very impressed with Caleb Williams, though, because we're kind of waiting for that first game where he gets his, oh, yeah, that's why you're the number one pick. That was kind of this week. He was accurate. He was racking up the yards, and he's scoring touchdowns, and he's hitting his guys. So he got Keenan Allen on the board twice for the first time this season. So he's doing everything right. So those are my sickos. Biggest surprise is that I don't have any. I wasn't surprised by anything really this week. I mean, I picked Dallas in that game, but I'm not surprised that Detroit went in and absolutely whooped their ass. I'm not. It's
this is actually reflected in your straight up picks this week, going 13-1. Nolan was not surprised by nearly anything this week.
No,
except for the Cowboys getting absolutely shitted on.
Yes, I'll take that one on the chin. But nothing surprised me there. Overreaction. I have that the Jets are a playoff threat to the entire AFC. You know, I've seen the storylines. Oh, they have Davante Adams now. Are they going to threaten everybody? No. Hold on. Let it work out. This is like Steve Nash and Dwight Howard going to the Lakers.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that was nice.
No, I'll give you
that. And then underreaction. I think the conversation of the Ravens kind of being back to a scary team in the AFC, though, needs to be revived, because originally after the Chiefs game, it was, oh, well, they didn't run the ball. What the hell are you doing? You have Derrick Henry. Well, now
they just don't run the ball against the Chiefs. I couldn't explain it to you.
No, it's not even just that. It was more like the bubble screens they're running. It was the consistent amount of throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. That once they started hitting the intermediate level of the field with Zay Flowers, and you got that run game cooking, now their offense is starting to look like we thought it was supposed to. You know, in the first game they didn't do that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, their defense is still a little suspect. They're giving up a lot of points this year, which is not really their MO. But if they can keep that kind of stuff under control, but continue to improve their offense, I think they're going to be a scary team moving forward.
So one thing I want to talk about before we get into game picks real quick, can you pin Nick's last comment, Cam Akers to the Vikings? This is not noteworthy news other than I'm looking for Aaron Jones news to drop later this week. I don't think the Vikings make this move undefeated unless they think Jones is going to be out for like 3 weeks or more. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. I don't know why they would be acquiring him unless they are a little scared about the diagnosis there. So a little bit of a prediction, but I think it's worth keeping an eye on. It was a random thing that happened this evening. I don't really see that being a move unless they're worried about him. So getting into this week's,
the Packers have a new kicker. Brandon McManus was signed to a 1 year.
That is important.
Oh, yeah, Brandon McManus.
Yeah.
He's good.
Kicking is important until you don't have it, dude.
Yeah,
Better than the rookie guy they got kicking right now.
Pissy pants player of the week is
Tyler Bass.
You guys saw that.
Tyler Bass.
I wrote that in there.
Greg Zuerlein and the Dallas Cowboys as a whole.
Pissy
pants players of the week.
These guys here. These two
all right,
guys.
So all right, we're already halfway through the show. We haven't done a single pick yet, so let's.
It's time to get to picks.
So we open Thursday night. Denver at New Orleans, 1.5 point spread, favoring Denver. So I'm gonna rip it real quick. I've got Denver to win, but I'm taking New Orleans to cover. I think I just don't think Spencer Rattler gets it done, and I think New Orleans falls to 2-5. I've got Alvin Kamara pretty much carrying this team on his back. I think they're going to try and ride that for as long as they can. And I've got Bo Nix running one in for the tutty.
All right. I have the opposite. I have New Orleans winning. Spencer Rattler versus Bo Nix. Give me Spencer Rattler every day of the week, baby. Interesting revenge game for Sean Payton, though. But I think he gets spoiled by Alvin Kamara. And I think Bub Means, the good old Bub Means train's rolling. I have a lot of him in Dynasty, and I think he's going to score another touchdown because he kind of had a good game last week, and Shaheed and Olave are banged up.
I'll go and then Bahookie, you can double it up. So I got New Orleans to win and to cover. I'm going opposite here. I think Spencer Rattler's going to figure it out this week. He got smacked in the mouth, and why not figure it out against a Denver team that, they have a good defense, but they're pretty subpar. So go out and play well in your home stadium. And then Alvin Kamara for my anytime.
Word. Go for it, Bahookie.
All right. I
won't Get this gross take out of the way.
Well, they both roll right into each other. And I've kind of alluded to this a few times throughout the show the last few weeks. But I get these are two hot and cold teams. This is a tough game to pick. This is honestly a crapshoot. You mean like whoever's picking this. But I want to. This take supports my narrative. Denver to win. Denver to cover. Bo Nix, AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year, and as my stud of the game, and Javonte Williams been pretty reliable coming on here. Anytime touchdown scorer, rolling right on to Pats at Jags. I am going to go with the Pats to win here. Okay. All right. And I am going to go with the Pats to cover, and I'm going to go with the player of the game as the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year runner-up, Drake May, mostly because he missed the first few weeks of the year. And that's really what it's going to come down to, is that Bo Nix played more games. And the anytime touchdown scorer is Demario Douglas.
Love that. Nolan, go for it.
Yes, sir. Jaguars to win, Jaguars to cover here. They're in their home stadium of London.
They got sauced on last week.
They got sauced on, but they're going to be pissed off that they lost in front of their faithful London fans. And so I'll go Trevor Lawrence for spread of the game. I think he's going to try to continue to find some kind of rhythm. And then I'm going to go Tank Bigsby for any time they're going to feed him the ball if ETN is out, as long as they're worried. So Tank Bigsby in the red zone.
Go for it, Louie.
Yeah, I'm taking Jags to win, but I am taking Pats to cover. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. My only concern, the Patriots' offensive line did not look very good in the game against the Texans, and I think this is a pretty underrated defensive line. I'm just expecting May not to have as much time as he needs, and there's some film on him now, so you expect a little bit of regression here. I'm going to take Tank Bigsby as my player of the game. He looks really good, not super efficient, but home run potential. I've got Bourne as my touchdown scorer this week.
Word. I have Pats to win, Pats to cover. This Jaguars secondary is just booty cheeks. If I know they have a decent front seven, I'm typically the one defending the Jaguars because of that front seven. But I just think that the Pats are able to put up points on the Texans. They should be able to put up points on the Jags. I think our defense is better. I just like also the whole thing 41 points on our defense. Like they're gonna have to come. Like this is what Gerard Mayo was supposedly hanging his hat on. If he's going to establish himself as a defensive minded coach, he damn well better get this team in shape, ready to not let they shouldn't score more than 20 points. I have faith that Drake May can score 21. Drake May is my player of the game.
Your booty cheeks reference on the secondary, a pun tying into your touchdown score?
Yes, it actually was. It was unintentional, but now you say that, we'll make it like it was meant to be.
You're going to get booty cheeked by Kayshon Boutte.
Yeah, he might actually be the best receiver on this team. Like his off the field issues have been kind of decided, and the kid's come. He's competed. He was basically either a 7th round pick or undrafted, and now he's worked his way up to making these types of plays. And I see no reason why he shouldn't. May and him are have a good chemistry too from working on the practice squad together and being together on the second units. Moving into Bengals Browns. I have Bengals -4. Sam Hubbard is my player of the sicko of the week for me. This offensive line for the Browns is dismal, and he is going to this Bengals defense has been getting trashed on a lot. And I think the Jets was the Giants game was kind of like a, hey guys, like we can still play. I know the Giants aren't that great on offense, but like we still have some pride. And I feel like that's going to kind of carry over in this divisional matchup. And I have Chase Brown winning the job with that last performance, I would imagine.
Why did he score the touchdown? Coach might not like that.
He's clearly just the more effective running back. They'll still use Zach Moss, but
probably in the red zone specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like he'll still have a role, but like Chase Brown should be getting most of the playing, not most, but like the more share of the playing time. Anyway, That's my take. You can go next, Louie.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bengals to win this one, but I am taking the Browns to cover here. I've got Myles Garrett as my player of the game. He's kind of been banged up. He's having a quiet season a little bit. He recorded 0 pressures in a game recently. It might have been last week or the week before. I can't remember when. I don't expect that to be the case against the Bengals. So I would expect him to have a 3-sack performance is kind of what I'm expecting here. And then I'm taking Chase Brown as my touchdown scorer as well.
Nice.
But for the legacy, Nick Chubb touchdown. We deserve it. We deserve it.
All right, I'll go, and then Bahookie, you can double up again here. Bengals to win, Bengals to cover. Joe Burrow for stud. T. Higgins for my anytime. This could be one of those games in this division where for some reason it's close. But I'm going to stick with the Bengals here for Joe Burrow and company to have a big one.
All right, moving on. We have me picking the Bengals to win, the Bengals to cover. I went with Trey Hendrickson as my stud of the week. He's off a 2-sack performance. He went like 2-1-0-0-2. He's got five sacks this year. He's close to a sack a game here. And I like him to continue that pressure rate that he's bringing. And I think that he's a real candidate for to move at the trade deadline, depending on what happens here the next handful of weeks for the Bengals. Zach Moss, anytime touchdown scorer. Career plotter.
Ops. All right. Take us to the game of the week, Lions Vikings.
We got Vikings and Lions.
Game
And
of the week? Question mark.
I feel like this is game of the week. This is top dog spot in the NFC North.
This is the first this is the second divisional game between the AFC North. They have the best point differential in NFL history through this many weeks.
I
all
feel
the
like
teams
this is
have
game of the
more
week.
wins. So
I'd love for you
have
to
some
tell me what
clashes.
game you feel like is. Chiefs Niners would be the other argument, but
I mean, Packers Texans is up there too.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like banged up on both sides. Maybe not as good of a game as people want it to be, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for it, obviously, but I feel like Lions Vikings is going to be sparks.
Talk about it, Bahookie.
So yeah, I'm rolling with the Lions here, man. This could be a good trap game for the Lions coming off of that massive win. Like it's one of the things that like I talked about earlier this year, returning to the mean. I would expect the Lions to not score as many points, and I would expect the Cowboys to score more points. I think those are fair predictions, but they're hot. I like to watch them. I like a lot of their players. I'm rolling with the Lions to win, Lions to cover. J-Mo Williams is my player of the game, and Jahmyr Gibbs is my anytime touchdown scorer.
All right, go for it, Nolan.
Yep, Lions to win, Lions to cover here. I have Jared Goff for my stud. I think the Lions O-line is doing great things for him, giving him time to throw the ball and go through his reads. And that's going to be big against a Vikings defense that is stingy with the sacks this year. So protecting Jared Goff is going to be a big one. And then for anytime touchdown, I do have Amon-Ra. He did get into the end zone late last week against Dallas. I think they're going to want to continue to try to get him more active this week.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm taking the Vikings here, and I'm going to tell you why is because I think their defense is exactly Jared Goff's kryptonite. I think the disguising, bringing a lot of pressure, making him make decisions quickly off the snap. Those are kind of the things Goff has struggled with over his career. I'm taking the Lions to cover because I do believe it's going to be a good game, but I think that Vikings defense is going to come up clutch, especially clogging up the run game. Justin Jefferson is also another X factor here for me, player of the game. This is a really, really young Lions secondary. You've got they got that corner they got from Tampa. Carlton Davis. He's been traveling with ones. He kind of was getting bullied a little bit by DK Metcalf a couple weeks ago, and I think Jefferson's a far superior wide receiver to DK Metcalf. So I think Jefferson's going to have a great game. And then Gibbs is my touchdown scorer through the air, not on the ground.
Like that. I'm taking Lions to win, Lions to cover here. I just think that over the first couple of weeks, the Lions kind of got away from what they wanted to do. They were looking a little bit more flashy with the down the field throws to Jamison Williams, but then they lost to the Buccaneers, and they were like, look, like we built this offensive line. We have Jahmyr Gibbs. We have David Montgomery. Let's run the effing ball and bite kneecaps off again. And I feel like that's how they're playing. Like that's how they just manhandled Dallas.
Well, when they went to overtime with the Rams, like my in-laws are big Lions fan, and I was texting back and forth with my future brother-in-law, and I was like, why are they not running the ball? Why are we doing empty set Jared Goff 3 pass attempts in a row when you have the best rushing attack in the NFL? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
And that's why I think I like their staff so much. They realized that and dialed it back and course corrected, and now they're playing the way they should be again, I think. And I think when they play the way they should be and play the way they want to play, when they play Lions football, they might be the best team in the league. I don't think the Vikings are quite there yet. We're starting to see Sam Darnold crack a little bit. The bye week was very needed for them this week, I think. And I just think Amon-Ra, St. Brown's going to be the stud of this game because it's been too many games since he's blown up. And he's just too good of a receiver to kind of keep down like that. David Montgomery is scoring a touchdown. He scored a touchdown in 18 of his last 23 games played on the Lions. That dude's about as consistent as they come. Moving into Texans-Packers, I have the Packers winning, Packers covering -2.5 here. It's more so I think the Texans were very good against the Patriots, but I feel like they should have been dominant. I know they won by 20 points, but there were plays that were there. There were plays to be made, and I think Jordan Love and these receivers are going to make those plays. I just don't think the defense is quite there yet. Nico Collins is out. I'm not sure you're getting 170 rushing yards from Joe Mixon this week against them. Jordan Love is my stud of this game. He's just been really, really good since he's been healthy. And then Tank Dell is my touchdown scorer. He's just getting the targets now that Nico's not there. Not all of them, but like a healthy share. And I think Stroud looks for him early and often. Go for it.
Yeah.
Luke.
This one feels like a coin toss to me, so I'm going to go with the Texans because they're my team. I'm not going to be shocked if the Packers win this game. I don't feel good about this game going into it. There's a lot of injuries we had from last week that I think are going to roll into this. I do have Jaden Reed as my player of the game. Stingley doesn't shadow, and I think they're going to try and line him up for mismatch. LaFleur comes from a style of offense that loves to use pre-snap motion, and I think they're going to make a lot of that, which we don't adjust well to. But I have Joe Mixon is my touchdown scorer. He got in twice the first week when he played. He got injured. He got in twice again last week. He is looking like the engine of this offense.
He gives you guys special.
And he's working. The plays are rolling, and so I think they're going to try to get him going to unlock that offense. I haven't watched a ton of Packers this year, so it's hard for me to speak about how it's going to be on their defense matched up on our offense. But I know Xavier McKinney's a dog, so not looking forward to that safety matchup.
I mean, the Packers have 17 turnovers forced this season on defense. That's like, I think it's first in the league or second in the league. And last year they had 18 total.
Yeah, it's crazy. Back is back,
so,
baby.
Like, you can kind of see the improvement. Yeah. I think Jeff Hatley, he was the head coach of Boston College. He's their defensive coordinator now. He's making a really big impression over there. But go for it, Nolan.
Texans everything here. I am feeling pretty confident that they're a little bit more prepared for some of these bigger games. So to win and to cover for me here. And then I doubled up on Joe Mixon. His comment about like his ankle injury of how I was the leading rusher until my ankle injury. I think he's pissed off and he wants to try to make up for lost time for the last couple weeks. And they're going to try to use him. But at the same time, the Texans have a couple other guys that Green Bay is going to have to try to piece their defense around. And that's where guys like Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce can become absolutely crucial to how you win a game this big, especially in Lambeau. So Texans everything here for me.
Word, go for it, Bahookie. Then roll us into Dolphins, Colts. Yuck.
Right. So I went with Texans to win. I went with Texans to cover. I went with CJ Stroud as my stud of the game, and I was debating on this one, and then my internal conscience told me that Derek Stingley Jr. was the right choice for any time touchdown here, and my internal conscience was Louie.
We were filling out the sheet at the same time, and he typed it and deleted it, and I was like, "Put that crap back."
It was pretty funny. You had to be there for it. Anyways,
it wasn't. I was there.
Moving on to Dolphins or Colts. I went with the Dolphins here. I can't believe I'm picking the Dolphins. It's not something I do often. But I went with them to win. I went with them to cover. I went with Jalen Waddle as my stud of the game and Tyreek Hill from anytime touchdown.
Go for it, Nolan.
Yep. I had Dolphins originally. Then I remembered Snoop Huntley as their quarterback.
He is their quarterback.
And I saw how the Colts played Tennessee. And Snoop Huntley reminds me a little bit of Will Levis and just not being able to just make the right throws. And so I think I switched it over. So Colts to win and cover here. This is probably going to be a field goal game because both these teams are not good. If Anthony Richardson is in, then I have him as my stud. And then I actually have Alec Pierce as my anytime touchdown scorer. They are continuing to try to find these other guys that are not named Michael Pittman. And if Jonathan Taylor's out again this week, then they're going to rely on throwing the ball yet again. So I'll go Alec Pierce.
Yeah, go for it, Louie.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins to win here. This game just is gross to me, but the Colts' run defense has looked really, really bad. And so I think the Dolphins are going to make the most of that. And I think they're going to use sweeps and things like that to catch kind of what I think is a very stagnant Colts defense. So I've got Davante Adams as my player of the game, and I've got him twice to find the end zone.
I love that for my fantasy team. I have the Colts to win here. Colts to cover -3.5. I still don't think the bye week really fixes much for this team. Nothing's really going to get fixed for this team until Tua's back. I think Josh Downs is going to be the player of the game. I think Josh Downs might be that team's number 1 wide receiver. I think he might be better than Michael Pittman. I'm not totally sure just yet.
I hate to tell you guys, Michael Pittman's not that good.
Yeah,
everybody talks about him like he's a premier 1. Nowhere close to that.
He's better with Flacco than he is with Richardson.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily his fault. Flacco throws him the ball on time and in the right spot.
I think if you put him in a better situation, he could actually shine. But
I think he has the skill set to be like a higher tier 1, but like not an elite 1. But anyway, AR-15 is who I have scoring a touchdown here. I think the fact that he's playing, they're going to want to get him involved on the ground. Like, that's what his skill set is being this dual threat. If you're taking away his legs, then, like, why is he out there? He shouldn't be out there if you want, like, premier, like, passing accuracy. Like, you should use him in the red zone. Next is Eagles-Giants. I have the Eagles winning, the Eagles covering 3.5 here. I saw today that Andrew Thomas, the Giants starting left tackle, is meeting with
he's out for the season.
Yeah, he could be out for the season.
Injury.
Yeah. So that's not good. Daniel Jones, I gave him a little praise last week, and he just didn't look great this week. I know Neighbors might be coming back. Neighbors, if he does come back, would actually be my sicko of the week. I just think the Eagles have too much on offense. And then Tyrone Tracy is my anytime touchdown scorer. That dude's a sicko. He can ball, converted wide receiver, so he can run routes. He can catch the football. He could do it all for them. Yeah. Louie, what do you think?
If you guys are cool, I think we can.
You took the words out of my mouth. Exactly. This is
I'm
where
switching after I saw that Andrew's news after I filled this out. So I am now switching to Eagles to win and cover, which is what all of us have now. A lot of us like Saquon this week, and either him or Hurts to score a touchdown. I think we can just kind of roll into the next thing.
The next few is where we start to line up. There's a couple.
So, Seahawks, Falcons. Everybody has Falcons to win and cover. So, Bahookie, why don't you kind of walk us through key matchups for this? We'll just hit our sicko of the game and our touchdown scorer.
So, yeah, the Falcons this past week had both Dijon and Tyler Algier. I don't know how to say it. But they both went over 100 yards, and they both have roles in this offense, like it or not. And I think that's going to continue. And the unlikely candidate for anytime touchdown, Kyle Pitts.
Okay. Nolan, who do you
got? So we're still talking about this Falcons game, right?
Falcons, Seahawks, yeah. Just your player of the game and touchdown scorer.
I actually have Kirk Cousins. I think Seattle has shown a little bit of weakness in their secondary, and Kirk has shown he has the ability to still dice up a defense. He threw for 500 yards just a couple weeks ago, so I think it's still there. But I do have Ken Walker as my anytime. I think Seattle just loves to use him in the red zone. Why wouldn't you? I mean, he's your best running back. So Ken Walker. We'll just see. Atlanta plays a little bit better at home. So maybe defending home field will be the big thing here.
Yeah, I've got Drake London as my big player of this game, and I've got JSN to walk one into the end zone.
Word, I have Bijan. I think that wasn't necessarily a breakout game, but it was a pretty damn good one. He was very efficient and got in the end zone twice. I think he could do that again here. And then I have Ken Walker as my touchdown scorer. Just they seem very eager to keep him on the field. In the old regime, when you get to passing downs, it would be like, all right, let's get DJ Dallas out here instead of Kenneth Walker. And in the last 3 games, he's either had 8 receptions or more than 40 receiving yards. So I think that's like really key to like unlocking him, getting him in the end zone. Titans Bills. I get the Bills to win here. Titans to cover the 8.5 strictly because of their defense. Then Josh Allen is my sicko of the week, and Tony Pollard is my anytime touchdown scorer.
Yeah, I've got Bills to win and Titans to cover as well. That's a big spread. 8.5 is a big spread.
Yeah.
I've got Khalil Shakir as my player of the game. I think he's going to have a really good game with most of the attention probably going to Cooper. And then I've got Josh Allen walking one into the end zone.
All right.
Go Nolan.
Bills, everything here. Josh Allen for my stud. Everything I've seen Amari Cooper's playing this week, so why not get him comfortable in your offense and get him your anytime touchdown? So I'll go Amari Cooper here. I know it might be a little bit of a gamble, has to learn the offense, but why not?
Amari Cooper's been around the block, bro. He can learn offense in a week.
Exactly.
It's not his first time being traded mid-season.
No, it's not. Bahookie?
So, yeah, this could be like labeled a trap game, I guess. I don't think so at all. I think Bills Mafia is going to turn out hard for this one. The Bills have been on the road for 3 weeks and are at home, and they just made a huge trade. I think the vibes at Highmark Stadium are going to be absolutely insane. Bills Mafia is going to be buck wild. It is going to be loud, and the Titans are not ready for the storm that is coming. This is going to be a blowout. Bills by $1 billion. That's what I said.
Bills by $1 billion.
And you know that's a brother Bill quote, who's a really famous Bills influencer, at least in our circles. Anyways, player of the game. Had to get a shout out to Taylor Guardian Cap Rap, throwing it with no regard for human life. Someone said it was like it's like the Kirby cap where you get the gold star, or you get the gold star in Mario. That's basically how Taylor Rapp's been playing since he came back. He's really aggressive, and he really goes out. I love when people fit in for tackles. He gets his head across. That's how he got his concussion, was making a good form tackle on Derrick Henry. The only problem was it was Derrick Henry at full speed. But I've been really impressed by his play. And Khalil Shakir, I think that with Amari Cooper there, like this is like even if he doesn't contribute right away, he's a guy that you got to respect, and it's going to open things up for everyone else. Khalil Shakir's been like semi dinged up the past few weeks, and I think he gets back to it this week into the end zone.
Hey, real quick, big news. There was a signing. So the Lions signed defensive lineman Aleem McNeil on a 4-year deal, $97 million. With $55 million guaranteed, so that's they're locking up part of their defense right after losing Hutch. So that's a big deal. That's a lot of money.
Hold $1.
Yep.
Right, moving on to the next one.
Moving into Panthers Manders.
All right, so
everybody's got Commanders to win.
Everyone's got the Commanders to win. We're split on who covers. I went with the Panthers to cover this, and I didn't feel that great about it, honestly. But I feel I still like the Commanders to win here, but I don't think that they blow them out here. And I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels as my stud of the game. He's been really, really good pretty much every week. And Chuba Hubbard has really been solid. And I like him to get into the end zone for the Panthers and keep this within the spread.
Go ahead.
Go for it, Nolan.
Commanders everything here. I think this is a walk in the park for how they've been playing. And they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth after dropping to Baltimore, who I think they could have beaten if they got a few more conversions late in the game. So I think they're going to want to win. This is kind of like when Alabama plays a FCS team.
Vanderbilt?
Yeah, or that. Yeah, maybe. I could be wrong, but a tune-up game here. I think the Commanders are going to want to win by a lot.
I'm taking Commanders win, Panthers cover. I'm taking Chuba Hubbard as my player of the game. I think he's going to have a run-heavy day. And then I've got Brian Robinson getting into the end zone. But Commanders' defense is not good, so I take the Panthers to keep the offense running, and I think it's a high-scoring game, taking the over.
Word. I'm taking the Commanders to win, the Commanders to cover. I do think the Panthers can put up like 20 points on this defense, but I think the Commanders can put up like 28, 30 points on their defense. So I think the 7.5 is pretty on point. I have B-Rob being my player of the game. They almost beat the Ravens and didn't really have a run game with him not playing. So like I think that their run game kind of depends on him. Terry McLaurin is heating the hell up, and I think he's going to continue getting into the end zone this week. This next game is Raiders-Rams. We actually all have the Rams winning, and we all have the Rams covering. My player of the game is Kyron Williams. Everybody knows he's going to get the rock. It really doesn't matter because he just makes things happen. And then Brock Bowers is my anytime touchdown scorer because he might be the best tight end in the league already.
Yeah. I have Cup ? As my player of the game, and then Trey Tucker as my touchdown scorer.
Nice.
I have Matt Stafford for my stud, actually. I think he's going to want to dice somebody up. Why not the Raiders, I guess. But yeah, and then Kyron Williams for any time for me.
Yeah, I went with Kyron Williams is my stud of the game, and Trey Tucker is anytime touchdown scorer.
All right, Lions are Chiefs-Niners.
Chiefs-Niners.
So I went Chiefs to win, Chiefs to cover. Mahomes is the player of the game, and I think Kelsey can find the end zone? ?
I like that. Go for it, Nolan.
Yeah,
We don't know the Chiefs here.
Same as Bahookie. Chiefs to win, Chiefs to cover. Pat Mahomes for player of the game. I do have Kareem Hunt as my anytime. They're going to continue to utilize him. And San Francisco is going to try to cut Pat Mahomes off at the knees, though, in the passing game and force him to run the ball. I think Kareem Hunt could thrive here. Pat loves the rematches of the Super Bowls, and he wants to get a rhythm going. He needs to get a rhythm going. Even though they're 5-0, he needs to get a rhythm. So why not do it here on the road? Tough matchup with the Niners.
Yeah, I think the Niners need this win a lot more than the Chiefs, so I'm taking Niners to win and cover. Purdy's been dishing, so I kind of like their odds here. I've got Debo as my player of the game. It's not Brandon Ayuk. It could be Kittle, but I think Debo's going to kind of take over this game. And then I've got Barack Purdy as my anytime touchdown scorer, taking one in.
Nice. I have the Chiefs to win, Chiefs to cover here. I have Chris Jones as my sicko of the week.
Chandler Jones is just a sicko.
Yeah.
CTE sicko of the week.
I just think Chris Jones shows up for these types of matchups. You mentioned Patrick Mahomes likes to play in these Super Bowl rematches, but Chris Jones is really not really the one, but he's one of the biggest factors of this run. And I think he puts his mark all over this massive game. Travis Kelce scoring a touchdown. They're using him in the he was never washed. He was just on the shelf because they had Rice and Worthy, and now he's all right, we need you, get off the shelf. And he's like, okay, I'm not washed. Everybody's cooked. Here we go. And then we're doing Jets Steelers here. Everybody's on the Jets and the Jets plus 1.5. I actually fucking hate that now that we're all on there. That makes me feel awful. But my player of the game, you guessed it, Davante Adams. This is a classic Davante Adams gets 16 targets game, and he catches 12 for 203. And you're like, oh, look at what the Jets did. They beat the Steelers. They're back. And then they go get dog pound next week by whoever they played. And then my anytime touchdown scorer is George Pickens due to the Russell Wilson news that he is probably going to be starting this week. That means I think they're going to throw the ball more, and Russ takes more deep shots, and that's where George Pickens wins. So, yeah, give me George Pickens to score a touchdown there. Go for it, Louie.
Yeah, this is one of those games that I just don't like that much. But yeah, Jets obviously win and cover. I've got TJ Watt as my player of the game, and then Breece Hall finds the end zone. TJ Watt's a problem.
Oh yeah, big problem.
Big
Aaron
problem.
Rodgers can't run away from him.
No, he cannot.
Nope.
Go for it, Old.
Yep. Jets to win, Jets to cover. I almost vomited saying that. Aaron Rodgers for player of the game.
Mhm.
And then Brees Hall for any time. This game scares me because they're going to try to feed Davante, and this could be one of those classic. We're going to give this guy the ball the whole time, and then we're never going to do anything. We're not going to accomplish anything because we want to try to get him targets, and then the Steelers will sneak up. Chris Boswell will kick 7 field goals, and they'll win the game. So,
That'd be hilarious.
I mean, I could see that happening, but I'll stick with my gut here and go Jets.
So yeah, going back, my history serves me right. The last time the Jets were in the playoffs, they was in the Rex Ryan era. They beat the Patriots. They moved on to the Steelers in 2011. The Steelers beat them. They haven't been to the playoffs since. Since then, with that being said, the Jets, for some reason, always play the Steelers pretty good. Whether the Jets are bad and the Steelers are good or vice versa, the Jets are coming off of 2 losses here. The Steelers are playing okay and winning, and I think that the Steelers are kind of ripe to be beat right now. I'm going with Brees Hall as my sicko of the game, and I'm going with Alan Lazard as the anytime touchdown scorer.
That one feels like a lock almost every week. It's a
He's
nasty
pretty-
lock, but it's
Nicholas, no, you don't.
All right,
Nicholas.
guys. I think that's our show.
Yeah,
I'm ready
Nicholas,
to close my
no,
laptop.
you don't. No,
Oh
you
my
don't, man.
You're too young.
No, you don't.
don't
No,
know.
you don't.
Nick.
all right. Let's
No, you
move.
don't.
Let's move. Let's
All right,
move.
next
Ravens
game.
and Bucks.
Next game.
Ravens and Bucks. Bahookus.
I had to turn off the Manning cast when he came on. I switched to the regular broadcast. I was like, "What? Oh my god!" We got sick to my stomach. All right, where are we at? We are at Ravens and Bucks here. I went with the Bucks. I was the outlier here. This is going to be a game. You guys were talking about games of the week earlier. I think this is mine, honestly. And so yeah, I'm going Bucks to win, Bucks to cover. I think Baker Mayfield wakes up feeling dangerous, and I think Bucky Irving is he is the RB1 now. I mean, maybe you tell me, but I think he's the guy who's going to be getting the ball in the red zone.
I'm with it. Nolan, go for it.
Oh man, I'm going Ravens to win, Ravens to cover here. Lamar for stud, Derrick Henry for any time. Very vanilla picks here. I could also see this being one of those games that the Bucks prove me wrong because this is their first game back from the hurricane, forcing them to leave town.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy at Rays Day.
Weird shit happens when you return back to a stadium after a natural disaster. So I could see them prove me wrong, but I'll stick with Ravens here.
Or go for it.
Ravens to win, but Bucks to cover. I've got that Irving Tucker duo as my sicko of the game, and then I've got Kate Otten as my touchdown scorer. Keep going back to him until he gets it.
He's been getting usage. I have the Ravens to win here. I just think that Lamar Jackson's record versus NFC teams is nearly undefeated, and I just think teams that don't really see Lamar in action, there's just so much trouble for them to match his game speed at that position. I do have the Bucks covering though because their offense is elite and they have the receivers to really, really hurt this Ravens secondary. I have Derrick Henry being the stud though because again this rushing game is just it's too explosive when they really commit to it. I have Mike Evans scoring a touchdown. That's just what this guy does. Moving into Chargers Cardinals, our Monday night matchup. This one's on at 9 p.m. guys. Don't know why. I know it's a West Coast game, but come on, that's wicked annoying. Anyway, I think
what time?
9 p.m. for our East Coasters.
Nice.
Yeah. So I have the Chargers to win here. Chargers to cover -2.5. we had all this hype, expectation, and hope for the Cardinals. I don't know if I just don't think they're a good team still. I just think they're a bad team still. And I think the Chargers have looked like a functioning unit on both sides of the football. This is a secondary that Justin Herbert can attack. J.K. Dobbins is looking like a pretty damn good featured back at this point in time. I have him to be my certified sicko, and I have Trey McBride to score the touchdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cardinals to win this one, I think. To win and cover here. I'm taking James Conner as my sicko of the game. Kyler Murray is my touchdown scorer.
Nice.
And end the week on an upset. Why not?
Sure.
Go for it.
Here, I'll go, and Bahookie, you can close this out. Cardinals to win, Cardinals to cover as well for me here. I think they have a bad taste in their mouth because they had something to try to prove by trying to go beat Green Bay, and they didn't do it. They look bad. Marvin Harrison is concussed. But Kyler Murray is going to be my stud here. This is where you'll see the dual threat of Kyler Murray really try to flourish and shine. But I do have J.K. Dobbins for my anytime. He is RB1 by a lot now, with especially Gus Edwards on IR. He's their guy.
Kamani Vidal is out there, though. Kamani Vidal. Hell yeah. Another one of my guys. Him, Tyrone Tracy. Things are looking up. Bub Means scored a touchdown. What's good?
Michael Wilson does have a boost this week because he's going to probably see the ball a lot. So Michael Wilson as well.
All right. Closing us out. I went Chargers here. I went Chargers to win. I went Chargers to cover. I went pretty vanilla picks here. Justin Herbert studied the game. J.K. Dobbins, anytime touchdown.
Word. That's our show, guys.
One thing I want to talk about before we go, I know we're all trying to get out of here.
No, it's all right.
We said we glossed over this earlier that Nolan went 13 of 14 on his straight game picks last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you pick 13 teams and they're all the favored team to win, $10 wins $3,000. So all I'm saying, Nolan, is maybe you should start
dropping
it up a little bit, you know?
I mean, bro, your last 3 weeks, you're 9-7, 10-4, and 13-1, and straight up, you're 9-7, 10-4, and then 11-3 with spread. That's gross.
It's good. Yeah, that's I would red robin that thing. Just start putting some money, round robin that thing. Just start putting some. I haven't eaten dinner.
What are do you have the cumulative scores?
Yeah, Louie is up straight up 63-29 with spread. He's 50-42. Nolan's 56-34 straight up, 54-38 with spread. You're 53-39 straight up, 42-50 with spread. I'm 42-50 with spread and straight up.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
what can I say, gentlemen? I'm student of the game.
Yeah,
Bahookie talked all that shit in the first show. He said, I defended my crown.
This has not been a good year for me in fantasy football, too, honestly. This is honestly I'm
coming for that free jersey. I'm not going to win any of these money leagues, Tyler, but I'm coming for that free jersey.
I'm in third
position. There's a lot of football left.
Take it from me. Bahookie, I'm about to give you that work in your own league, too, this week.
How many times have we played this year, and how many times have you beat me?
I think we played once and none.
2 and 0.
Fight.
All right. Well, that does it for our show, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Crazy trade news. If you want to see us, maybe we might do some clip reactions if there's other trades this week. So make sure you're following Stadium Rant Social. Check out our website, stadiumrant.com. And as always, guys, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Certified Sicko of the Week.